Hey everyone, it's Craig, aka Mr. Impact Blog from the TNAIW channel, and this is the official first episode review show of what went down for Impact Wrestling. I can see, again, joined by Jeff, and
Go on, guys.
this week we'll take you through everything that happened on Impact from last night now, and this morning for me.
Yeah.
And so we'll take you through the match by match. We'll give our opinions. We'll talk about it. We'll give a thumbs up, thumbs down rating. See how we feel about each segment. And if Impact can do returns, then I guess we can. On this episode, we're bringing back the power rankings.
Finally. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it's gonna be an all new format, like we said, or you were saying, this all new show for us. So it'll be fun. We'll be doing it weekly, reviewing Impact, and it'll be a good time. Hopefully, you never find a special guest host, so I'm here every week stuck with you. But if there are any fans out there that can tape this on Britain time, what is it, Britain Standard Time?
Yeah.
And go for it.
Time zone's confusing. Yeah.
Sorry, we make it work.
Come be the Sexton Hardcastle to my Giuseppe Scavelli.
Sure, I'll take it.
IPWF.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Let's jump straight in and go for the X Division Championship rematch between Willie Bay and the new X Division champion Willie Mack and the new X Division champion Chris Bay. I'm very tired, so.
Yeah, so I know we're supposed to start off with thumbs up, down, in between. The overall segment, I have to be honest, so I'm gonna give a thumbs in the middle. And for me, the reason is it was a good, solid match, little match. I thought it was interesting that they used his rematch clause right away.
Yeah.
I think, and I know we were nervous about him staying, but I don't think that's an issue. He did put a tweet out that was a little cryptic, but I think it was just they're just setting him up for something new. So that's why I have in the middle, because I don't know what's next for Willie Mack, and that kind of scares me. I like what they're doing with Chris Bay. We'll get into that a little more in another part of the show, but my concern is more for Willie, so I give it a middle ground there.
Yeah, I think, middle.
Okay.
Yeah, I love the match. It's just where things go now.
Right.
Chris Bay, there's no reason why he shouldn't be a great X Division champion, but Willie had a really short run as X champion. There was no reason for it. He wasn't struck with COVID. No issues in terms of traveling. He was there. So, like with Jordan Grace, her title reign was slightly meh.
Right. Altered, yeah.
There was no reason for it, really.
No, this diminishes his run. I don't think he had a problem during his run. But maybe this is just the opportunity where they saw more faces than there are heels in the X Division. So you need Chris Bay to take that. And it gives the chance for Willie to go away for a second and repackage. And Don always alludes to that, of him needing some kind of management or some kind of leadership. So we'll see where that goes. And I'm hoping, knock, knock, that it pays off. So.
Yes, same. I mean, maybe Don can be Willie's new manager, since he's not really on commentary anymore, but I'm assuming he's there.
Weird decision, but I like it. Really quick, new opening. You guys get, obviously.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I loved it. It was incredible.
Kind of TNA-ish, which I dug.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, what's next?
It was the Good Brothers segment where they were finally allowed to speak.
Oh, wow, yeah, that was
Good Brothers.
Just for sheer fact that the hype is there for them, I give it a thumbs up. I think they still have to find their groove and in their characters. I think they're better heels. They're funny heels. So we'll wait to see what happens with them. But I definitely like where we're going with them. I like that they're giving them the star treatment, which means, just using them little, not, going too deep in right away. So I like the presentation of them. I think it just gets better from here, but I give it a thumbs up because on Twitter, if you follow us at TNAIW Podcast, we were engaging in a lot of people that seemed to be a lot of the topic. So,
same. It's a thumbs up from me because I love the Good Brothers. I mean, obviously, over in the WWE, they weren't treated like the top stars they should have been, but they weren't exactly better. They were just there.
Right. Yeah, they felt like a consolation prize with AJ coming in. And that's how they were treated. I feel like here they're treated like stars, and I hope the rub that they give of being bigger than the business continues, because I think that's what the key to them is they seem, wrestling's cool, but they transcend the realm of what is popular in wrestling. So
yeah, and Ace and Fulton are just fantastic.
Yes.
I can't Ace and Fulton. I can't wait for the eventual match between the two.
We're really weird for them to be the first pairing or kind of storyline, but I'm sure it leads to something. And I also think it elevates the two young guys and Fulton and Ace. So
exactly.
A lot of spotlight on them.
So then we had Rohit Raju interrupting the X Division Championship celebration backstage.
Okay. So I give this a thumbs up. For a couple reasons. One, I love where they're going with Bay's character, as he was very popular on the indies. It was a big signing in a way that Impact got him. Even though he was more indie known than anything else. But this is giving him a true heel character, a persona that we can say, oh man, this guy sucks. What a womanizer or chauvinistic pig or asshole or whatever you want to call him. And it gets that part across. Because he does come out and the music's cool, his lighting's cool, he looks good. I'm still not sold on his outfit, trunks and stuff, but he'll get there. That's an important part of the presentation, but I think he's on his way to being a bigger star. And things like this, these little moments really do help elevate that for him. The other reason I like it is because I like Rohit. I have since day one. I think he has a lot more to offer than just Indian character guy, stereotype of that group, and I like the swagger he's always had. So him and Bay together could be a really fun dynamic that is maybe a friendship that replaces the Johnny Swinger friendship. So I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up from me as well.
Okay.
We didn't plan to be on the agreeing on all the ratings, but
No,
it's purely coincidence.
No, we unbiased. Yeah. You say, I say what I say.
But yeah, I agree. I mean, Chris Bay feels like he's on that way to be a superstar.
Yeah,
and I think
I think you're right.
The X Division Championship is the perfect place for him to start on a way to build him up. Maybe I didn't see it coming this early, but it's here and he's on his way up.
That's the way. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, because we talked about it in great length in the preview show of not wanting Chris Bay, not it being his time yet. Because I think that was more on Willie than it was Chris Bay, because Chris has been there for a hot second. But I hope, that they give him a long run with this and build him up, and we don't see the belt changing hands but so often. Now, if they have a stacked roster and it's Bay versus, I don't know, Rohit I don't think Rich and Willie are going to be in there. So I guess it's a rebuilding time for the X Division. Maybe Amazing Red comes back. There's a lot of things. I wouldn't mind if the belt switched hands like it used to in TNA, the X division, because the talent is so good. But at the same time, I want Chris Bay to have a nice run to establish himself.
Yeah,
as that superstar. You say?
Yeah, it's the perfect place for him to start. So let's make the most of it. Then another segment backstage with Heath trying to get into the building.
Yeah.
Called up Rhino. Rhino didn't answer.
He was arguing with. Okay.
Hernandez, yeah.
So I also give this a thumbs up, and it's weird for me to say that I like something with Heath Slater in it, or Heath, but they're really using him in a way that is telling a story, and I really dig that, because even though we all know that they're signed, and I know that was one of the big complaints, and we'll get to EC3 as well, is, oh, they're not working for us, but they're on the show and they announce. Okay, whatever happens on the television show, to me, is the television show. So on the show, he doesn't have a job. He wants to visit friends. He wanted to be on the list. He wasn't on the list. Calls Rhino. Rhino's busy talking to Hernandez, setting up that again. It's just a lot of continuity from Impact, which is rare in wrestling today, let alone Impact. So it's really cool that they're trying new things and telling stories in different ways, to go from him on the phone to seeing the phone with Heath on it. Just nicely done. Little things are the things that really turn me on to something or off to something. And the details like that, I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. See, now I've had time to let this segment settle. Obviously, with the whole thing, Heath and, mainly between Rhino and Hernandez, but get into that. I have to go middle on this one.
Okay.
I like Heath. I'm just not completely sold that he's a whole new Heath, like in terms of ability.
Okay.
Everyone seems to be building him as, he's improved so much, and maybe he has.
What way do you mean? Do you mean in the ring or just as a character?
Both. Like, I'm not sure if it's difficult to see him as anything else than how WWE treated him.
Okay, I think that's fair. But I really think Impact Management realizes that that's going to be or I hope realizes, and it seems by the booking so far that people realize, or they realize, excuse me, that they acknowledge the perception of him.
Yeah.
Because he is still a little bit being goofy, and Heath, like, oh, come on, whatever he said at the pay-per-view. But I think that's something that they're intentionally doing. When we finally see the end result, he will be a new Heath. I've been pleasantly surprised with his acting ability in the back and doing all that. He looked more frustrated that he wasn't on the list than comedic about it.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get the payoff eventually. So I understand your worry on it. But I hope and I think that this payoff will be worth it.
Fingers crossed, because
yes,
yeah, I'm just worried that obviously there's this running joke with the 3MB members that they go away, get jacked, come back, win the W title.
It's not gonna happen.
Nah. So then, knockouts tag team action: Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan versus the Killer Death Machines, Havoc and Nevaeh. Again, it seems to be another tease that knockouts tag titles seem to be coming back.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that they are coming back. A matter of when is just another exciting thing we get to look forward to and be surprised by. Here's the problem. I love Tasha and Kiera. I hate that everyone online automatically assumes she's a knockoff or generic brand Sasha Banks. There was a lot of comments I read.
Yeah.
and I don't want to get too far into that or put them over because I don't think they need to be put over. I think they're great. I think everything about them is coming together and they're playing great scared heels that are loudmouths, which I enjoy. But they're in a league of their own. And yes, not to jump around, but Sasha Banks does have her own thing and she's great. And that doesn't mean that another girl of African American descent with colored hair can't be great. And she is. And anytime she's on TV, it just kind of captures, even in the Battle Royal, like where she was, like commenting on the match while she was in the match, like, oh, you should have done that. Like there's just something there with Kiera and Tasha that I think has superstar potential, or at least money in them. I know I'd spend my money on them as far as their merch and stuff.
Yeah.
And I like Nevaeh, and I've come around with Havoc since her first run. Doesn't mean I didn't like her then. I love what she has become as far as the entrance, the gear, the everything. It's just very put together, and I think she's a great hand for Impact. So I see the point in that, but I just can't get over the ending of that match. In a night where you're supposed to be kind of hyped and we're trying to put on our best foot forward, yes, you still have to tell stories and you don't want one of them to look bad either way. Dope Tombstone Pile Driver, though. Kira. But I unfortunately have to give this a thumbs down. I give it a thumbs down. And it has nothing to do with the people in the match. It has to do simply on the result of the match.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think it helped either, besides get them on TV.
Right. So, again, I've been thinking about this match quite a while since it aired, since I watched. And it's thumbs down from me.
Great. Okay. And that's hard for you. You're a bigger Kiera fan than I am, I think.
Yeah. I love Kiera, but again with the ending. But for me, it's the fact seeing this match about 4 or 5 times. It feels like it, or seeing these same knockouts involved in the matches with each other. And there are other teams. I get that they're in the middle of a feud, but
there needs to be more dimensions than just
yeah. I mean, have them cost them a match against, say, Rosemary and Taya. Do something else.
Well, that snowball needs to build, and if maybe that speaks to the timeline they have for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, that it's not happening really soon, so they have time to get everyone over as a tag team. Because I think if you tune in even casually to Impact now they're a tag team. You see them together all the time, each of them. So you establish, but now is that time to introduce a third team and kind of build their feud with everybody, or a separate feud, and then have Tasha and them come out and cost them a match or whatever it may be. Just start building the tag team roster for the Knockouts without just saying, oh, here's 2 tag teams and have them wrestle every week. So I get where you're going with that. So yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think these two tag teams are probably the undeclared number 1 contenders for the belts if they come back. So, soon see what happens. Then had a reveal teaser promo of the latest incoming sign to Impact Wrestling. I know you're thrilled about this one. I didn't know who it was until I saw on Twitter.
Really?
I couldn't tell who it was. It was Brian Myers.
Yeah, it is.
FKA.
Now, as you introduced it, you could tell you know how I feel.
Yes.
But I have to be unbiased and say it as a whole, right? My opinion as a whole. And for that reason, I'm going to give it middle. And the reason is normally I would say, oh my God, Brian Myers, thumbs down. Why do we need him? And I might be saying that in a month or two, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt for a couple of reasons. One, we don't know how he's going to be used. Is he going to come in here and be Impact people who have been there forever? We don't know. Is he going to be a jobber? We don't know. Is Ryder coming with him? We don't know. But the benefit of having someone like him, and we don't know if it's a long-term contract, maybe it's a appearance. I think we'll get a lot of those soon, where people kind of come and go on the show as guest stars, I guess you'd say, or surprise appearances. So we don't know how he's going to be used, but at the same time, it gets another person. It's not like, oh, WWE reject, at least not to me. Because we're in right now, we're in a coup where we're getting a lot of talent. Him coming in does get more tweets out there, which it did. A lot of buzz when it happened. But the real reason that put it over top for me is the simple fact that he has outside ventures like the Good Brothers do. Good Brothers have Talk and Shop-A-Mania, and they have, these other things that they focus on besides just Impact or WWE or whatever they are, whoever they're with. And Brian Myers is very creative in that sense as well. Runs his own training facility, right? I believe.
Wrestle. I think it's cool.
Create a Wrestle. Right? Create a Pro. Whatever it is. It's in the Northeast.
Yeah. Wrestle Pro is KM.
Yeah.
Thinking of that.
And so he has that, but he also has his action figure show, which is actually really popular, and I enjoy it with him and Ryder. Even though I don't enjoy them per se as wrestling personalities, I enjoy them as humans, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I'm going to give it middle of the road. I'm going to wait just for the buzz simply, and the fact that they could do more than just, hey, I'm a wrestler. There's a possibility there for him to add to the creativity.
Right.
Right.
It's a tough one. It's like I said, I didn't know. I had to go on Twitter after the show had ended to actually figure out who it was.
Right.
I didn't recognize the mask because I
Blue and orange M didn't get.
it out of my head. I didn't even notice that. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's a down.
Down. Okay. That's fair.
Because, like I said, I first didn't know who it was, and I felt like it was almost like a rip-off of the Kurt Angle teaser promo thing. The ring ropes and his head popping up the hood up.
Okay.
I thought, nah, what are they doing?
Maybe it's a teaser.
And also, I can't say I liked Kurt Hawkins. I liked him as an edge head.
Okay.
And when he was in Impact with Trevor Lee, didn't like that. I didn't like the way he was booked to lose and the whole losing streak.
Yeah.
I liked him in the tag team with Ryder, but...
So do you think it's a matter of his talent, or do you think it's a matter of booking? Because we could say, even though he was in Impact, he was in the time where Jeff Jarrett was invading and GFW and weird stuff, man.
I think it's his ability as a singles wrestler. I don't mind him as a tag team. I think he's suited in a tag team.
Okay, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I just didn't recognize him.
Hey, it's your opinion. I was there too until I took into everything. So
yeah. Then, a very quick, small segment backstage with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. With Shamrock just, annoyed at himself.
Shamrock just being an angry promo guy.
Annoyed at himself. So it wasn't very long, wasn't very much.
It felt like a thing just to get them on the show.
Yeah.
Which you could look at two ways. You could look at one as it being forced on us, and they could have came up with something better. Yeah, possibly, but there was a lot of content on the show, and if you're putting your best foot forward, them are two guys you do want to get out there and make sure people that are first-time watchers or watchers again get to see. But was it enough to tell them who they are? No. So I'll give it a middle. He got him on the show. It did more for Shamrock, I think, than Sammy, because Sammy has that cool gimmick, so something like that would have benefited him more. But it at least got Shamrock on there, and people could say, "Oh yeah, I know Shamrock," and that seems what happened on Twitch. Impact on Twitch is actually how I watch it. There was near or over, I can't remember what it ended at, 8,000 people that were watching and chatting as well. So when they came on the screen, I see Shamrock. So it did what it needed to do, but it could have been done differently, I guess. So middle.
Yeah, I think. So again, it's something I've gone back and forward on, but I've got to go middle myself. I agree. I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was maybe. Cause I don't think it's a carry on to their feud. I don't know. So
I hope. I don't know.
It was. Yeah, I guess it was just there on the show.
Right.
And not really sure what it was there for, but it was there.
Indeed, it was.
So they had a lot of segments backstage on the show, and up next, or what I have on my list, was RVD and Katie Forbes. Go ahead.
If I could give this 2 thumbs up, I would give it 2 thumbs up. And here's why. It seems like it's just another simple passing thing to get someone on a show. But here's what it did for me. That cancel culture thing, not the real life one, but the real life one and the gimmick.
Yeah.
But that gimmick really, and I get where they were going with it, and they had a lot of uphill battle to make it work, especially under this COVID era, just because they're forcing who they fight, and the Rascals made sense, but it never happened. So I felt like it was best just to wash their hands clean and have RVD and Katie be back to greatness that they are, as a spectacle, as a gimmick, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Because anytime they're on the show, a smile comes on my face. And I would never say that since maybe WWE days of RVD. I was a big fan of his in ECW, and then it really dropped off, especially with the TNA run. Left a bad taste in my mouth. But he just seems like a rejuvenated RVD. It's not like he's coming on the TV because we need to squeeze RVD. He wants a paycheck. They have a character that really is something different and fun. And, Katie isn't the best wrestler or, the sexiest girl in the world, but that doesn't matter. What matters is that she goes out there and is unedited her.
Yeah.
And to me, she's that, them two coming to the ring, or when they were before cancel culture, was always a segment that I wanted to watch. And I was hoping we got back there. We got back there. So I give it, 2 thumbs up. And Katie's a beautiful girl. I want to get that across. But I just want to say that. But I'm just saying, I'm not saying it because of her ass. I love her. Yeah. or every other thing she has.
Yeah, for me, complete thumbs up. It's like they hit reset on them and just put them back to the last point.
Yep.
And I agree. RVD, when I first started watching Impact, and I hadn't watched wrestling since like 2004, 2003.
Oh,
those lines before I started watching Impact in 2012.
2012?
And seeing RVD like on TNA, I thought, holy shit, it's RVD.
Right.
So then, obviously, the whole thing happened. I think I only saw him for like 3 or 4 months before he lost to Kenny King. Then he left again. And when he came back, I can say it now. I didn't like watching his matches when he came back because it didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
I liked him in tag matches. because he could do the same stuff he used to do, but he won't get blown up too much.
Right.
Tag out and take a breather. So yeah, again, love the stuff him and Katie do. It's just every time it makes me laugh. Sometimes I cringe, but
yeah, well, yeah, but it brings out emotion out of you. Exactly. And if you think she's hot, brings emotion out of you. If you think, oh, I love potheads, then he brings emotion out of you. If you think, it's RVD and that excites you from your childhood memories, that brings emotion out of you. So to me, they're really funny and they're a great pair. Her on her own or not her on her own, but her in general is funny to me. Like everything she does is just a character and it's great. But the combination of them two, and then for him just to say, we're back to this, it wasn't, it's just a complete reset, like you said. I love it. I'm excited for it. And hopefully we get banned from Twitch again.
Yeah, just fantastic stuff there. So then a match, if you can call it that lasted all of 6 seconds. Hernandez versus Rhino.
You
it's obviously a complete thumbs down because I as soon as I saw it, I turned to my sister who sat next to me and said, "Did we just watch Hernandez being squashed by Rhino? Did we just watch that in 2020?" I mean, maybe it adds to the story, but it didn't need that. Yeah,
I'm with you, and here's why I'm with you, and then I'll tell you why. The only reason that I want to give it the benefit of the doubt. So the reason I'm with you is for everything you just said. Did it feel like it served the purpose? No. Did it feel like that was needed after their backstage segment, not only last week, but this week where it already continued their storyline? No. Last week's felt like a culmination. They shared money, great segments of arm wrestling, funny stuff, made Rhino and Hernandez exciting to me. But then I thought, okay, so if Rhino beats Hernandez, right? Technically twice. I mean, I guess you could technically say the first thing outside was a draw. But he beat him in 6 seconds. Yeah. So what's great about that is that their matches at this day and age, they're on the older side. They're veterans, obviously. So you got to keep them short and sweet, or put them in situations where their weaknesses now are hidden. But long story short, the only benefit I could get out of this, or seed of hope, is that it leads to Hernandez needing help, right?
Yes.
So maybe he brings in Homicide, maybe Rhino brings in Heath, and we have something there organically. Because other than that, unless Hernandez punched a baby backstage or something, I don't know why he needed to go out there and lose in 6 seconds.
Yeah.
If he had went out there and they had an okay match and it felt like a storyline and it wasn't just a squash, for the mustache alone, I might have gave it a thumbs up. But it just seemed like a waste of mine and your time, even though 6 seconds isn't. I feel like they could have achieved the same thing just doing that backstage.
Agreed. And it's crazy because I had the exact same thought about the potential of Rhino and Heath and then Homicide and Hernandez. Exact same thought. So crazy.
Let's move on though, because we've spent 15 times the amount of time on the subject of the match. Maybe 100.
Okay, so then a very fun segment afterwards. Wrestle House.
Yes.
What?
It's another double thumbs up. I don't even know if we could do double thumbs up, but it's we're trying things. We're gonna go. You know, I wrote about it on there. I'm all for this because what wrestling doesn't do enough is make fun of itself, right? I think that's the common perception is, oh, we take it seriously, we're real. But if you watch on a day-to-day basis, we all kind of get the winks and stuff if you're a fan. But the casual viewer who's watching is like, I'm not going to watch, I'll give it a chance, but I'm not going to watch it. It's too fake. Well, okay, now we have a reality show based on, like, we need segments to make this show a variety show. And Wrestle House, which I'm a huge fan of the Real Legends house that was on WWF or WWE, is not only a great idea because it does give us another comedy, serious, something entertaining besides just wrestling. The presentation's good on it, but I also like the fact that we're going to have all these people that Rosemary made come, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to have a chance for all of these people like Triple XL or Crazy Steve. I mean, I know there's a lot, but Johnny Swinger, who's already funny in his own right. It's bringing a lot of heads that might not be getting television time right now because of all the influx of talent. It gives an opportunity. And if this is something we keep up, and this is an ongoing thing with Taya and Rosemary, which I think is great for them, you could start bringing new people in there that aren't on the television that can get some television time. So all around, I'm excited about it. Even if next week's a flop with it, I'll ride it out. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it's a thumbs up. Everything about that segment was superb. From the way Rosemary just made them all wrestlers appear out of nowhere,
Right.
and so the mixture. We've got Kylie, Alicia, Dina's.
Alicia, that's right.
Just perfect. Yeah. There's not really much I can say apart from it's fantastic, and I can't wait for next week.
I agree.
Then
we can't forget. Well, I didn't want to. Sorry to interrupt, but I know we didn't mention Kylie was there too. Kylie's big on her own, doesn't need it, but the dynamic and the chemistry and the people that they chose, like you said, the ingredients they put into this is really interesting. You have the decay thing with Rosemary and Steve. You have Triple XL, who are big guys who are burly, so they're funny in their own right. It's just a great combination. Alicia, like you said, she's funny and spunky now. They're giving her time to shine. Johnny Swinger is Johnny Swing. It's just a great dynamic there that could only result in greatness, I hope.
Precisely. So then let's move on to the main event. North versus the Motor City Machine Guns for the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Championships. Holy sugar plums.
Is that what you guys say over there?
Yeah, it's stupid. Plus, I don't want to get monetized by YouTube, so
Okay.
I say it to myself.
Yeah, right. Smart man. I feel like this is something we could dissect for a while, but I know we're on a time schedule this time. So I'll just say this. The match was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable match. Kind of just like the pay-per-view where maybe not necessarily I wanted the team to win that won right now, but I'm okay with it because the match and the story told in it was pretty good. Very good.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that I'm saying that Motor City Machine Guns are the Impact World Tag Team Champions. I hope that doesn't mean they fizzle out sooner rather than later. I know Sabin seems like someone who'll stick around, but Shelley's enigmatic, we'll say. Is that what Don called him? But it ended the North at the same time.
I know.
And that sucks. And obviously you're repping them today, and that's awesome. They are still the top for me as far as tag team wrestling, and I'm sure Motor City's going to come in and do their part. But very interesting to put the belts on them so quickly. But it secures the element of surprise that Impact is going for, and it also finally the North had someone worthy to give them a break from the title so they could go do something else. As human beings, I'm sure they loved having the Impact World Tag Team titles for 381 days, but there has to be the creative artist inside of them that says, okay, we need something new to freshen this up. Even though I'm never bored of them, this is good for them. And I give it thumbs up. Great match, great outcome despite the North losing. So technically great outcome. I don't know. A lot of buzz, and last but not least, the North wore red and white, and you see two people, and we didn't mention that actually, the EY and Eddie Edwards segment.
Of course,
you missed over that, so we'll touch that right now. Their segment, obviously, I like that they're continuing that. They have something to play off in the fact that, EY is maniacal and crazy and wants, this is all controlled by him in his mind. And then you have Eddie who wants to be a fighting champion, and they have that history. But if, say, Eddie is with the Good Brothers, right? Or kind of, or whatever it's going to be, we'll see how that plays out.
They're friends.
And the North and Eric Young team up, as we thought they could form a Team Canada. It just seems like the Motor City Machine Guns winning is a starting point for the North compared to an end of this feud and storyline. So I'm excited about it. It gave me a shock. It gave me a shock at the pay-per-view. It gave me a shock tonight or last night. And overall excited about the potential this has.
Agreed. So for both segments between Eddie and...
thumbs up to both.
Thumbs up for both, yeah. So just to touch on the Eddie and EY segment, because he was the shortest and was
right.
It did the job to set up a potential feud between the two. Yeah, it's not really much to say. It's going to be a great match whenever those two catch horns. It's going to be a great match. Now, see, I'm still slightly in mourning for the North Tag Team title reign because I wasn't expecting it because it's like, why give for them losing the titles?
They get comfortable. Damn
For the North, I don't see what good it does them dropping the belts to this Machine Guns. It doesn't do the Machine Guns much justice either, because it's great they're tagging champions again, but
think about it like this. They've only won once before, the Machine Guns. So this is they're only 2 times. It's not like they're just handing the belts to some guys who come in, which I enjoy. But you got to try to think about it. I know we're rating the segment now, but if you take in consideration what could happen next, I think what it does for them, as I was just mentioning, is it freshens them up. And yes, they have beat every tag team Impact has to offer. They have LAX and whoever's come and go, the Rascals, whoever you want to say. But we can agree that the caliber of tag teams they've been beating are up and coming.
Yeah.
So what can happen here is their tag team reign could be asterisked by the quality of the division, if you want to put it that way. I mean, look, we had Sammy and Ken as the challengers at the pay-per-view. So now what this is saying is, yes, we were 381-day champions, but we finally faced a team that's on the same level, if not a little bit above, and they beat us. So now they're angry. They want to prove to everybody, or in the storyline, in my head, that they can hang with the big dogs, I guess you call them, and then you bring the Good Brothers in. Maybe you bring another tag team back in. They kind of were interesting, played around beer money and stuff, which was interesting. I saw that. He's there. So I think there's a lot of developing the division is doing, trying to sort it all out. But it just means that second run for the North, when they finally do achieve it, is much bigger. Because now they could say they beat LAX for the first one, and now this one they beat insert legendary team here. So I don't know. Try to optimism. I have the optimism,
Yeah.
but it is sad.
Just wasn't expecting it to not. Yeah, I thought it'd be to a team that's coming up to help them go up. Like, not obviously they have to be on a level, but
right. So
they have to.
But think about it. Someone is finally built up, like say the Rascals. I think we agree that they're the closest to being a complete tag team. By the time they're in that level, does it feel forced? And the North is beating all of these people like Motor City. After they they beat Motor City, who's next? Do they beat the Good Brothers? Then they get this puts Motor City quickly in the top of the food chain, and it puts the North chasing now to be even more heel, which I like. So I'm going to try to be optimistic.
Yeah. And also, just very quickly, TNA World Title, Moose Falabar with the EC3 return.
Yeah. I don't know how we're missing all this stuff, man. So much. That's a good thing, though. It means there's so much going on that we, So when it comes to that, the match was what it was. I don't know why Fowler got the the invitation. But I love the belt. Still do. Don't care if it's from Pakistan or from Timbuktu. I don't care where it's from. It's a big deal right now. Who gives a shit? But it's nice. It's white. It's beautiful. Moose having it is great. I'm glad they're continuing it. The EC3 thing was a little confusing. I have to admit that, with Josh saying, "Oh, we knew he was coming, but he surprised us. But he's signed, but he's not signed." It's just really, it was a weird there. So for that reason, I wanted to give it a middle of the road just to see how it plays out. But it's EC3 returning. It surprised the hell out of me of when he showed up. Really weird that he attacked Moose, inverted DDT with the Sting thing there. I don't know. I mean, they did differently, but I'm just excited. If Moose is on my screen, I'm happy. If EC3 pops up on my screen, I'm insanely excited. So the combination of two just made it a thumbs up for me.
Yeah, agreed. Thumbs up. Yeah. Even though EC3 was giving off a little bit of a Taz vibe with the head scarf thing, it kind of reminded me of Taz.
Oh yeah, he had a towel on his head.
I might want to Taz because of that.
Well, let's mention that first. We didn't get our last week on Impact. We got EC3 to start the show. That was really exciting for me. And then for him to pop out was exciting too. And you don't know if he's a face or a heel. I think that's going to be the whole vibe of that group that is built. I really believe that. I'm sticking to that. But I get what you're saying with the towel. There's so many hidden things that they're doing. Like you said, the angle thing. Like they're hinting at all these things. Stole the angle.
Yeah, like it. Yeah.
But still, I think they're winks to the past that get people's mind thinking, and maybe that's what they're doing. I don't think it had anything to do with Taz, but it might have to do something with something. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe it's just his new gimmick, but my mind went straight to Taz because I'm used to seeing
that. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about Samoa Joe? Samoa Joe used to it's around his neck at least.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see if he does it again, right?
Yeah, who knows? So then, now we should be at the end of the show.
Yep, let's do Heath and...
Yeah. Heath sneaks into the building.
Yeah, he sneaks back in. Heath sneaks. That's hard to say. Sneaks back in. And once again, I give it a thumbs up because I love that they're doing cliffhangers like that. They give you something to think about. He got back into the arena after the show ended, so we'll see what that does. But once again, it just makes you kind of in the back of your head at least say there's something more to Heath sneaking in, that he's not getting a chance. It has to play with the EC3 thing somewhere, I think, still.
Yeah, it's not really much else I can say on that because it happened. It's all about what happens next.
Right.
There's nothing nothing to give it away of what will be happening. We just have to wait and see.
It's a tease for a reason.
Yeah.
Right,
quickly on the Ethan Page vlog, he wasn't allowed to film backstage on the Impact tapings.
He wasn't.
No, but Brian Myers was on the show, so I'm guessing that's not a spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah, there's obviously more things coming.
Yeah. Good in there.
Very interesting.
So that's part of the reason why the rankings, which we're going to use that as a transition and end this off, kind of were halted. Was we were getting the same stuff over and over, the same results. Votes would change it, so please keep voting whatever we decide to end up doing here. Thank you to the people in the chat room, Robbie, you obviously, it's other people, I don't know. All of David, I think, rated it. So we came up with the rankings, but that was part of the reason is it wasn't changing. It was stagnant. Now, each week, prizes coming in. I see this power ranking be very exciting because we're grading it based on the episode, and they keep changing. They're going to keep changing. It happens. It's going to happen. So is that, let's go to, let me get ready for this. Do you want me to start announcing or?
Yep.
All right. Get right into power rankings. So with number 10 sneaking in was Ace Austin. Now, notables here were Eric Young and then the former champions in and Willie Mack and Jordan Grace. Trey did get a vote, though. So number 10, Ace Austin, which, I'm glad he sneaks up on there because I want him still to be in the eyes of people, someone who's a player.
Yeah.
Agree? Number 9, EC3. Fair enough.
Yeah, coming straight in. That's not surprising considering the buzz.
Number 8, the Good Brothers.
Ooh, I maybe expected them to be a little bit higher, but again,
I see there it could be because they're the impact, no pun intended, that they're making on Impact. But next week they have a match, so I'm sure they'll be elevated eventually, or not too long. Number 7 is our TNA World Heavyweight Champion. It's Moose. Moose at number 7.
Okay.
I like that. I'm okay with that. Last when we were doing these power rankings, he was much higher, but obviously a new crop of champions and stuff have come in.
Yeah.
Which leads us to number 6, which is a big gain from where she was in our previous power rankings. We have Kylie Ray, the number 1 contender of the Women's Knockouts Championship, which I like. People are taking consideration that she's next up for the knockout. She's had a great winning streak, so you like that? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, definitely down for that.
Number 5 is the former tag team champions, the North, still up there in the top 5.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Definitely, because even when they weren't on the show for the last set of rankings, they're still number 1 each week.
Right, and it's just I think what that says is in the eyes of the fans as well as the company, they always make sure that the North look good. Everyone, the fans still view them as being top players all those weeks during our old power rankings. And even though they lost the title, no one's saying, back of the line for you. They're still in that top 5. You can't ignore the 381-day reign. Number 4, so this is where it gets interesting. So we have 4 spots left, 4 champions. But what is the order? So number 4 is actually Deonna Purrazzo. I can see that, even though after her banger of a match, the reason I can see her at number 4 is simply because of the segment really didn't. She really didn't have a segment on the show that established her as better than any of the other champions, I felt like.
Nah, she's there to be interviewed champion and to set up the next challenger. Wasn't really much involved. She needed to be involved in, besides setting up the challenger for the match.
Can you guess who number 3 is?
Chris Bay.
It is Chris Bay. Number 3 is Chris Bay with another big jump. He was, I think, battling 10-9-8 in our last rankings. So in the first one of this, he jumped all the way to 3 with the X Division title. Good for him, man. Exactly where I think he should be, if not between 3 and 4. And simply why he would get over Deanna for me is that he beat the champion again, beat Willie Mack again, cleanly, no help. So here he is at number 3. Now, 1 and 2 is actually very interesting. 1 and 2 are actually tied with Eddie Edwards, the new world champion, and Motor City Machine Guns. Which the only reason I could see maybe Motor City going ahead is that they, on the episode, won the championships against the North. At the same time, it's hard to just say the new Impact World Champion, Eddie Edwards, is number 2 to the tag team. So it's hard to say that, but the fans have voted. The votes are in. It's a tie.
Top for the newest champions. Yeah, I can understand that. It's nostalgia plus the new Eddie being world champion finally. So I can see why it was close.
Yeah, all 10 people on here, well, not people, but all 10 group or tags and wrestlers on this all deserve to be on it. I don't think anyone I would say, why? But it's really interesting. It's going to be really interesting, especially as people come in and debut, of where that bottom of it is. And then once they start interacting with them top champions and get some wins on Impact, I could see it changing on the regular. So very exciting time. Once again, we're just doing right now in our chat room, we're doing a vote of your guys' top 10s. If you want to join it, give us a shout at TNAIW Podcast on Twitter. We'll add you to the group, and that's how we're going to be doing it for now until we kind of finally agree on a survey format for it. So
yeah, will be fun. So I guess now it's time to say thank you everyone for tuning in, to click on this video to watch and just seeing what we have to say. Thanks for taking our opinions on board. If you do, if you don't, let us know if you disagree with anything we said. Go straight ahead. You know what the comments are. Go straight ahead and let us know whatever you think. So again, Jeff pointed out, you can find us at TNAW Podcast on Twitter. Hit subscribe to us on here and help us reach 100 so we can start streaming live on our YouTube channel.
Yes. Oh, and then Sunday, new episode of the podcast, the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. We'll be back. Big show.
Brand new episode and lots to talk about on that.
Yes.
Lots to talk about.
Excited. I'm sure you have great questions for us.
Oh, yes. Plenty written down.
Okay.
So thank you all for tuning in. You know to find us. Let us know your thoughts. Do the whole thing. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.